Our next speaker is not only intelligent and funny, she also does archery. We would now like to welcome her as she comes to the stage and gives us a glimpse into her life and how the hijab empowers her. Let's give it up for Fadak Akil and the empowerment of the hijab.
Can everyone look to the person on their right? Now, to their left. What was the first thing you noticed about them? Was it their posture or the way their hair looked? Let me tell you the answer. It was probably their clothing. How come we stereotype personalities based on one's appearance? There's a quote that I came by when I was just starting to wear the hijab. It was by Brene Brown. She said, "Courage starts with showing up and letting ourselves be seen." Most people ask me, how did you do it? And I always answer with one thing: courage. It took a great amount of courage for me to put on my hijab and not shrivel away in the corner, hiding away from reality. The main fear I had was I was afraid of what others would think. I was afraid of my peers and teachers treating me differently. But deep down, I knew this was something I wanted to do. It was the courage and support from my family that really pushed me to wear it. Most people said the hijab will change you. I didn't believe them. I realized years later that it did change me. I had become more mature and more responsible, which is weird because it's just a piece of clothing, right? Turns out it wasn't the hijab itself, but the empowerment I felt from the hijab. The hijab has different meanings for everyone. For me, it became a message to myself. It's a representation of who I am and where I come from. One time, we went to Iraq for the summer in grade 8, and I remember feeling so happy and relieved there. It was because I didn't feel like an outcast the way I did in Lloyd. Every female looked like me. There were no pinning stares when I walked down the street, and one thing I noticed was they didn't stereotype me with the hijab. That feeling of being an outcast wasn't really something I thought of. I had pushed away all my feelings aside and ignored it until I felt that was it worth it? On the contrary, I didn't want to take off my hijab. I wanted to wear it and say that this is who I am and this is who I will always be. And I will not change myself to fit your definition of a stereotypical hijabi girl. I realized in the summer of COVID that I had stood up to my fear of being an outcast. For some, COVID was a really bad experience, but for me, it was a time of self-reflection. It was a time where I stepped back and saw that the people who supported me were what really mattered. The most important lesson that was taught to me by my mom, she said, courage is when you truly believe in yourself when no one else will. I realized that hijab has different meanings for everyone. One time, it was during the month of Ramadan, and the fasting month, and I was really irritated that day. An old man came up to me and he said, "Can I ask you a question?" And I said, "Sure, go ahead." He asked me, "Do you shower with that thing on?" Do I shower with my clothes on? I looked at him and I said, "Yes, I do. I use hijab and shoulders, for the conditioning, of course." Obviously, it's a joke, you guys. I don't shower with my clothes on, please. I don't shower with my clothes on, but he took it so seriously, he just nodded and walked away. What made me mad about that conversation was the lack of information and ignorance a person can have. There should be no excuse in our society today where you can't Google about another religion and have all your questions answered. Social media can play a special role in determining a person's morals and values. Just like how it tarnishes the Islamic reputation, it can repair it as well. So I sat down and started thinking, why was this man thinking I showered with my clothes on? Do you want to know what I found out? The tiny devices in your hands are the reason why. Well, technically, it's the media. It's the internet. It can be a good thing and a bad thing. It's no surprise that you know how bad of a reputation Muslims get in media representation. And if everyone just constantly sees these messages about religion, then it can create stereotypes and prejudice among society, which then can cause generations to still believe in these stereotypes, and that will not solve the problem. We must stop these stereotypes of Islam being an oppressed religion. On the contrary, Islam was one of the first religions to give females their freedom and rights and treat them as human beings. Media representation can be good through our awareness of these topics and understanding that the media doesn't always tell the truth. I'm so honored to be here today to tell everyone my story and how I overcame that feeling and understood that the hijab gives me empowerment and makes me who I am. Fortunately, I have the opportunity to speak, but other girls in other countries have to fight for their rights to wear the hijab. This may come off as surprising, but the hijab is actually banned in France and Quebec. Most people don't know this because of the lack of information and interest in this topic. Simply talking about the issue with your family or your friends can raise awareness, and it can teach people and show them that the hijab isn't oppression. The hijab has given me freedom to be myself. It allows me to express who I am, and it also becomes like a flag barrier for the religion of Islam. And the veil, the same thing with Christianity. My question is, how come we're okay with one but not the other? How come when a hijabi covers, it's an act of oppression? We can assume many things about people, but in the end, it's just an assumption. And we can't stereotype people's personalities, just what we hear on the news. I have faced Islamophobia a lot in my life, and what I've learned and noticed is that the lack of interest and knowledge is what creates these stereotypes. With that, I leave you with a message. We are Muslim women. We want everyone to know that we are proud of who we are, but then this says a lot too. It tells everyone who sees me that what stands before you is a woman of enormous strength, integrity, and courage. It stands to show this woman will not lie, and she will not cheat, nor will she deceive others, and will be the best person she can be. She will become a role model for this older and younger generation. But this hijab also comes with a warning. It tells everyone that what stands before you is a woman who knows her worth and value. My hijab tells everyone, I want to be set apart from everyone else. I want you to know who I am. I am a Muslim woman. Thank you for listening.